Will you commit right now to give Mr. Abrego Garcia that process where you can prove your allegation that he is a member of MS-13?
Congressman, that judge that you just quoted did not say he was not a member of MS-13. Who did say that he was a member of MS-13 was law enforcement officers that encountered this individual.
Yeah, he knows that. This is a Fourth Circuit judge. He knows all of what the evidence is, and he's saying if that evidence. So you're not going to commit to follow this order. You won't commit to follow this court order.
By the way, he identified
Madam Secretary,
himself.
I reclaim my time. Stop filibustering. Stop filibustering.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we're diving into a fiery congressional exchange that put the spotlight on constitutional rights, due process, and the limits of executive power. Congressman Gleman went head-to-head with the Secretary over the controversial case of Mr. Abrego Garcia, an alleged MS-13 member. The debate quickly escalated into one of the most intense hearings we've seen in a while. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video.
That notwithstanding your statements under oath here today that Mr. Kilmar Abrego Garcia was afforded due process, he was in fact not afforded due process, because then if he were, you would have seen the withholding order that did not permit him to be deported to El Salvador. Now you allege, and I guess the Attorney General alleges, that he's a member of MS-13. That may very well be the case. And if he is, now that that is a foreign terrorist organization, certainly the immigration laws would allow him, and in fact require him, to be deported. I certainly would support that. But the problem that we have here is what you allege, what Ms. Green alleges, what the Attorney General alleges, is not the judiciary. You don't get to decide whether or not he is an MS-13 member. And you don't have to take my word for it, because Judge Wilkinson, a Fourth Circuit judge, very conservative, addressed this argument. He said, the government asserts that Abrego Garcia is a terrorist and a member of MS-13. Perhaps, but perhaps not. Regardless, he is still entitled to due process. If the government is confident in its position, it should be assured that position will prevail in proceedings to terminate the withholding of removal order. Will you commit right now to give Mr. Abrego Garcia that process where you can prove your allegation that he is a member of MS-13?
Congressman, that judge that you just quoted did not say he was not a member of MS-13. Who did say that he was a member of MS-13 was law enforcement officers that encountered this individual.
Yeah, he knows that. This is a Fourth Circuit judge. He knows all of what the evidence is, and he's saying if that evidence. So you're not going to commit to follow this order. You won't commit to follow this court order.
By the way, he identified
Madam Secretary,
himself.
I reclaim my time. Stop filibustering. Stop filibustering.
By gang members of MS-13.
Will you give Mr. Abrego Garcia the due process that the Supreme Court and Judge Wilkinson has required you to give him?
Abrego Garcia is an El Salvador resident who is in his home country. If he were to come back to this country, he would be immediately removed again.
How do you know?
He has received and been treated appropriately,
so
and he is not.
How can you say he's been treated appropriately if the Supreme Court has ruled 9-0? 9-0 that he hasn't been treated appropriately? Why is your opinion better and have more authority than the Supreme Court?
Investigators, 2 judges, an immigration court that all said he was MS-13 and was removed from this country.
But you understand, that is you saying that. That is you saying that.
That is them saying that. This
no.
investigators and law
that is
enforcement
you
officers
making that determination.
Against him. If you don't
the
trust
court has considered all that. The judge has considered all that, Madam Secretary. And if you would be quiet, because I'm reclaiming my time, you are not following this court order. But let's focus on the court order, because this opinion also says that to facilitate, which the Supreme Court is requiring, is an active verb. It requires that steps be taken. What steps have you taken to return Mr. Abrego Garcia to allow him to get due process?
Abrego Garcia is in his home country.
What
If he were to come
steps
back,
have
your
you
advocacy-
taken?
If your continued advocacy for him were to...
I'm not advocating for him.
Yes, you
I'm
are.
advocating for a
Absolutely.
court order, Madam
Gone to the
Secretary.
mat for this
The
man
court
who
order
has terrorized
says
people
that
in
you
traffic
must take
and human
steps
beings.
to follow the court order. You are here under oath. What steps have you taken to return Mr. Abrego Garcia pursuant to
Not
this
be
court order?
extremely-
The government claimed Garcia was a member of MS-13, a gang now labeled a foreign terrorist organization. Normally, that would mean deportation. But Gleman made an important point. Allegations from law enforcement or the Attorney General are not the same as a judicial decision. Before we continue, if you enjoy breakdowns like this and want to stay updated on the biggest political debates, make sure to hit that subscribe button. The Secretary countered that Garcia was already back in El Salvador, and if he ever returned to the United States, he would be immediately removed. Gleman wasn't satisfied. He pointed out that the Supreme Court's ruling required steps to ensure due process, not excuses. The tension boiled over as he defended the principle of constitutional rights, while the Secretary shot back that he appeared to be fighting for a terrorist. This clash wasn't just about one man. It was about the balance of power between the executive and judicial branches, and whether constitutional rights apply even to those accused of the worst crimes. Gleman stood firm on due process, while the Secretary stood firm on national security. So, what do you think? Was this a
Get to
defense of the
decide
Constitution?
Whether or
misplaced
not
sympathy
he is an
for a
MS-13
dangerous
member.
individual?
And
Drop your
you don't have to
thoughts in
take
the
my word
comments
for
below.
it,
And don't
because
forget to like this video
Judge
and
Wilkinson, a
subscribe.
Fourth
Thanks for
Circuit
watching,
judge,
and I'll
very
see you in the next one.
conservative,